And welcome to the latest and greatest from Step Further Sports, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan based platform. We're on episode 93. So make sure to subscribe to our socials and on all of our platforms. For me, at CFMAZ. For Sean, you can find him at SV The Don on all platforms. And SV The Don NHL. I always got to make sure to get that little end part correct.
Got that right.
You find us at Step Brother Sports. And then don't forget, for any of these videos and shows, like the video, rate, give a 5-star review, do all those other great things you can do to help us grow engagement. So the preseason continues for the Buffalo Bills. We also have some preseason football right now if you're tuning in live. Watch Fernando Mendoza get a pick six. That was
80 yards.
Less than ideal start for him, of course. But anyway, yeah, exactly. But anyway, the Buffalo Bills, they had a pretty solid showing last week against the Carolina Panthers. And have begun joint practices today with the Cleveland Browns. And they're also coming off a strong day against those Cleveland Browns. But on the hockey side of things, still at an absolute standstill for the NHL offseason. Only thing on the horizon is what the Buffalo Sabres may reveal for their new alternate jersey for this coming season. Looking forward to seeing what that may look like. But we're super excited tonight to go deep on the Bills. And what better way to do that than with somebody who is completely dialed in as a fan? We had the opportunity to meet tonight's guest at the NFL draft in Pittsburgh back in April, where he was decked out from head to toe in a fantastic Bills suit. And he famously also got to announce the Caleb Elarms Orr draft pick on day 3 of the draft this year. So when just getting to know him a bit, he's super humble, super kind. Really appreciate that. He was just very easy to talk to and engage with. And he also joins us as one of our neighbors to the north in Canada. So please welcome the 2026 Buffalo Bills International Fan of the Year, Mr. Darryl Russell.
Hey, guys.
Let's go.
Great to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, should be great. So, Darryl, we always love having people on the show, especially for the first time, because that way we get to know their origin story. What got them into becoming who they are as a sports fan, as a content creator, as anything really, as far as, again, how they got to be where they are to this day and age. So, Darryl, obviously, again, there's a huge reason why you got this really cool distinguished award from the Bills themselves and from the NFL, essentially. So tell us again your Buffalo Bills origins, maybe some of your favorite Bills moments of all time, because obviously I'm assuming like that's some of your key and core sports memories there. And ultimately, I've always been curious about this too, just because, again, things in Canada might not be always the same. Not everybody might be a Buffalo Bills fan because you have a lot of wide-ranging border cities that neighbor Canada. So you might get a little variety of fandom across there. So tell us what it's like following the team in Canada. And obviously, I know one of the biggest parts of being a Canadian Bills fan, especially in your area in Ontario, is that Bills helmet bar, which I know is a big staunch supporter in your area. So again,
congratulations on their wedding. They just got married 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Congratulations.
Super nice guy.
Congrats to the Bills helmet bar.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us a little bit more about your origin story as a Bills fan, Darryl. And again, how you got to be where you're at today.
Well, I mean, I've been a fan since about 1990. I mean, I give everything to my brother, who's no longer with us. He passed away 11 years ago. Yeah, so I won't lie. Like in high school, football in Canada, you got to remember in the 80s, it's not like today. You can really only see Buffalo football, and then 4 o'clock was usually the Cowboys or something like that. So, but you were more bandwagon jumpers in the 80s when it came to football. But then I just remember my brother telling me, he goes, just tune into this Bills team. This is an 89. And my good buddy Erwin Reed, who I went to high school with, and they kept saying, so of course, right, you start to watch, and then if we all remember the 90s, it was just such an incredible time frame to be a Bills fan. And I just, you slowly start to fall in love with the team. And I remember just going to the tailgates. My first game was 1992. Nice. Flea flicker, reverse flea flicker to Don Beebe. That's the first play I always remember. And then from there, you fall in love with the team. And, we all know the 17-year drought and everything about it, but it's never stopped me from being passionate. But, obviously now when you draft what I don't care what anybody says. The man, Josh Allen. It makes being a fan even more exciting now. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's I have to always say I always give a shout out to my brother who as you can see when I was at the draft, I always that when I bring him to everything with me. He's always
That's awesome.
so I always give my props to him and I always say he would be on cloud nine with this team that we have on the field now. So yeah.
That's a really loving tribute and really awesome to
Yeah.
see that too. So that's really cool. That's great. Just I'm thinking back to like when we met you that I think we met you night 2 because that's when we were able to finagle our way into the draft theater. So that was
there was a few guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to show some poor guy, but there was one guy that let's just say might have had too many, and
Sure.
and obviously you're on national TV. They had to remove, but there was a few guys, so it was great to see you guys come into the pit. I had so much fun in that thing. So.
Oh yeah, we got lucky. We got lucky to be in there too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very
if you know
much
the
a
story.
chance encounter. Very much. So feel free to tell that tale.
Yeah.
Well, Curtis, who's works for Buffalo, he's such a great guy. Like they took very good care of me, and it was nice too. Like obviously, I do like to carry on a little bit, and all of a sudden I got all these videos sent to me dancing on ESPN, and so I had a blast. Honestly, if that was the highlight of being an international fan, I still would have been thinking this is great. Like this is. I'm hoping to. I saw Curtis at the preseason and kind of said I'd like to come back to Washington. So he said you better text me. So that'd be cool to go back again. So
how did you, Darryl? How did you end up getting asked to do the pick, like in particular?
To this day, I really don't know. I mean, okay, I post and I'm not a content. I don't consider myself a content creator.
Right.
Obviously, now I guess I've created some followers. Being when you go viral for doing the prep, I've always just created honestly very cheesy Instagram videos. Like they're very amateur like, and I always finish the video. It's only after a Bills win, and it's always my cousin Brian.
Nice.
That you always see at the end. It's a video of him who probably had too many in the parking lot, yells out fantastic, and then I use this little Notorious B.I.G. song that I got from a TikTok video. But I started doing that only about 6-7 years ago. But I wondered if, I remember one time my ticket rep, I said, well, I do wear funny suits sometimes. And I mean, so there's been moments and then you never know. Like, I mean, people nominate you. And when I got told, I admit, I never grasp how big of a deal it was because you're like at first it's overwhelming, but when you think of the millions of people, millions that they could have chose from to choose me, I really take honor being that and hope that I represent Bills fans well, and I loved every minute of it and still loving it. So
that's awesome. Well, it's a memory you're gonna have forever. So
yeah,
you did us proud, my friend.
Well, doing that draft pick, I admit, like I was so I'm not afraid to public speak, but when I was backstage, it was just so important. I go, okay, I want to shout out my brother, but when I kept practicing, I would well up, and oh God, I don't want to cry. I'm not but I won't lie. Years of growing up watching WWE wrestling paid off, so I just went for it. Like when she said, "Let's," no, I said, "That's it," and I went for it. I figured, you know what? You got one shot at this, make it good, and if I can make a few people laugh or enjoy it, then so be it. And that was the whole idea. And the guy I selected, Caleb, I messaged him right away. He messaged me back. Such a nice guy. He met me at Mafia Con, and
I saw those pictures. That was really cool.
And he's been really nice. Like if I send him a message saying, "Hey, you had a good practice today" or something, he right away he usually responds. I don't want to be one of these nutty guys that hound him, but he's a super humble guy and big dude too. Like, but I don't know if you said you saw the picture, but you guys like at Mafia Con, it was after where me and my buddy we went back just to go tour the stadium to look at it, and that's when I get out of my car and I get this tap, and it was TJ Parker and his
That's
family.
wild. That is wild.
And I mean this, and I mean I know what a very down to earth, humble guy. He spent 30 minutes just shooting the bull with me, and
Yeah.
I was asking him questions, and his family was really kind. So it's stuff like that that you think, you know what, for a young organization, we're in good hands if that's the type of people we're drafting. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
they really know how passionate Bill Sands are. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I know we're going to get into also in just a minute a little bit about your observations from training camp, but I got to say, I had a hunch, and it seems to be so far proving correct, that important pick that you made, that might end up being the most important draft pick we're going to see for this year in the rookie class, because that guy looks like he might be on his way to starting, brother.
Well, you always feel like you're tied, right? Like talking to the guys that won it last year. They drafted, I think it was Deion Walker. So there was a party going, because obviously that pick was back to back. So Skylar Bell was the first one, and then Caleb. And I'm thinking, well, I won't lie. I kind of said, well, give me Skylar Bell. It's probably easier to
Chris's
pronounce.
Guy. That was Chris's guy.
I was
predicted
pumped
him
when they got him. Yes.
Yeah, because it was funny, because I watched Embedded by the Buffalo ones that they put out, and they show the clips of Bean and Brady laughing at me, thinking I'm gassed, but really I was more worried about mispronouncing his name. So, but I think he's going to be a beast. I don't know, what I've seen, I've liked. So, and I've heard lots, and it's not just Bill's podcast that have said this. People outside of the organization and other areas have said that he looks really good. So
absolutely.
Hey, it's encouraging for a linebacking core that has a lot of questions behind it too. So again, Darryl, really thanks for taking us behind the scenes about how that really went down. That's cool to know, just because again, like there's that level of appreciation that not only comes from the team and just understanding like where you come from, but like again that you get to like also just speak for your entire area and your region in Ontario. So that's cool.
I always say this, when people say what was the best part, and I mean this, it's not me it's the people that I've got to meet now and consider friends. I'm on your podcast. That's awesome. Like I said, you're going to the Hammerlot, and Kenny, Pinto Ron, like you can, or Teresa, as you can see from the Water Buffalo Club, and Bill Squatch, the Mafia vets, all these amazing, let's say, super fans. You had the Bills guy on a couple weeks ago. To get to meet these guys on a personal level, and that to me that's the highlight for me, is to say, hey, when I go to these games now, these guys, I consider them my friends. Like meeting Del Reed, another super nice guy. Like, that to me, that if that's it, like that's the highlight for me, and that's what I've enjoyed the most, is being invited to things and meeting new people and considering these people my friends. That's what's the most important of all of this.
Oh yeah, the community piece is huge.
Yeah,
that's really what makes this fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we're never one to really be tracking like, oh, we have so and so number of viewers. If you're tuning in, also we're always appreciative of that, but it's not about that. It's just building the community and just having a great time.
Yeah,
just talking about things we love.
And I don't want to. If I've missed someone, like I'm saying, like I've got to meet so many amazing, and I do my best to share people who are content creators, because I don't consider myself one, but if on their Instagrams, I try my best. Like there's this lovely lady from Canada who's really working her butts. Her name's the original KD. Like people like that, if I can promote them, and because I guess you do get some viewers.
Yeah,
I just love it. I mean, if that's what's been the best part, is the people I've gotten to meet along the way and consider them friends now. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's real. Again, we're all about just bringing everybody together here for all the same cause, Darryl. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next part on here, because again, we did mention while we were introducing you on here is that you got to take a look into the stadium. It's not a place we've been to yet, but our plans are to go to I think it's either week 4 or week 5. It's whenever the Bills play the Patriots. That'll be our first time.
I'll be at that one.
Awesome. Yes.
We'll have the tailgate.
Week 5. It's not. Yeah, October 4th. Yeah, I'm at that one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but again, you got to really take in that experience for the first time amongst thousands and thousands of others that also got to take it in for the first time. Go ahead and tell us like what it was like just even walking into the gates, the sight lines. I'm not whether they're overblown versus like, or some of them they're actually a problem. But I mean, obviously that's a little bit more minute.
Honestly,
I mean, I think overwhelmingly positive seems to be the case. But yeah, tell us more about what you saw.
Honestly, it's a shame that this is there's the pros of social media, and then there's the downfall of show. You got your keyboard warriors who doesn't matter what's presented in front of them. They're I mean, these nickel jerseys. Like it's just it's one. And to me, it's like this place is beautiful, and I walked around it. My friend Dan, who you met at the draft, he did the whole thing. He went right up. The place is beautiful. And this whole like scenario, like that one seat that they keep wanting to show.
Oh yeah.
Is honestly, it's not meant for game day. It's meant for concerts.
It's concerts.
But I get it.
The stage was there, right?
Yeah, and I get it. That's the world we live in. People want to it creates content and makes people tune into your
loudest ones are the most negative ones.
Yeah, and half of these people don't even have season tickets. So they're bitter. At the end of the day, they're probably bitter because everyone knows that prices did jump. But no, it's a beautiful stadium. I mean, I think if I could say, I guess the negative thing would be, but it's like that at any stadium you go to. If you're going to buy a cold one, it's expensive, but it's expensive wherever you go. I go to a Leafs game and I'm spending.
I can't even fathom what you're paying for just a beer there.
But overall, like it's a beautiful stadium, and I mean I've been twice now. I went to Red Blue and I went to the game last week, and I love it. I have nothing.
What did you think about the screens? Like from being there, was it too small? Like, what did you think about
that? I guess it could have been bigger, but I don't know. I mean, so I've always sat in the end zone. It's just my thing. I'm so accustomed to it. I can see just fine. I don't know. I mean, I guess they could have went bigger. But overall, I don't know. I like I said, I just think people just have nothing better to do than to say something negative because that's the trend right now. And you know how fast once one and then everyone. Same with like a month ago when the nickel jerseys. Everybody jumps on it. But actually,
I'm one to. I know a lot of people are big critics on that. I don't hate them.
I don't hate them. I got one now. No, I like it.
Yeah.
Who'd you get? Did you get a Josh? Who'd you get?
I should, I'll before the end, you'll see why I got Josh. If I turned around, you saw my fireplace, you would see. So
there we go.
I got I make sure I have every Josh jersey. I know.
Nice.
I got my autograph one though, which is good. That was I got that at the 2019 training camp, and I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook, but I'm the one that did the George Costanza and did a picture with him. And
I did see that. That was
that's
very well
my
done.
face. So that's my only goal in life is to one day redeem myself and get a new selfie with him. But hopefully,
that's pretty excellent. But nice to hear. Like again, it's not all negative when it comes to the stadium in that regard too.
No.
So
I mean, I'm old school, but let's be honest. I still call it the Ralph, but
most people do.
Yeah, like let's be real here. We went from like having an old Pinto to a Rolls Royce. Like, come on. Like, if you're like, there's like when you go to the bathroom, you can still see the whole field. Like it's open. It's beautiful stadium. You guys will really enjoy it.
Oh, we're looking forward to it for sure. But let's get to some of the on the field stuff. Sean, get us started on that.
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned you've been to 2 different practices. I'm sure just like us, as a big fan, you've been paying attention probably to some of these like daily reports and different things from training camp and whatnot. So give us a sense of any, whether it be major standouts as far as players or just any takeaways, whether it be from, the offense, the defense, just what you're kind of seeing. And obviously we have one preseason game to look at. So what's your overall sense of how the team's coming together so far?
Well, on offense, I mean, it's funny because all we ever hear is, we need a wide receiver. But it's kind of funny that we still always seem to average 28 points with not having a star, right? Sure. Well, we got more now, and I mean, early signs show that the two of them are clicking, and he looked really good in that Carolina game. So to add more, I mean, offensively, I'm not really too worried. I feel that if we can keep Kincaid healthy, you got the two tight end sets. You've got, I mean, we haven't seen Skylar Bell play. Hopefully, Coleman can turn it around. We never got to see a healthy Palmer. And that's what I mean. Like, you look at last year, none of these guys were either, they were injured all the time. We didn't have more. And we, like I said, we still found a way to get 28 points. Cook's going to do his thing. So it's more of the defense for me that I've always felt was the problem. And that's the mystery. But I'm excited. I think it was time to blow it up defensively and try something new. I mean, I know a lot of people worry because they say, you know, when you go with when you switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4, it can take a couple of years. But I don't know. These guys, I felt that there was some pressure. They showed some pressure. I think Deion Walker is a star in the making.
Yes.
I mean, wow. And he was showing that last year. But again, we never got to see TJ Sanders, a healthy Oliver all season. And there's a few guys that I think in a different scheme could shine, like Sullivan I can never Solomon.
Javon
Sullivan.
Yes. So these are guys who in college actually, had a lot of sacks. So I'm very interested to see with a different scheme. And then, like I said, you got Bradley Chubb, we got TJ Parker. We had, I think, 29 draft picks, right? If you look at from 24, 25, 26. I like to think that we have some guys here that are just waiting to explode. And I'm thinking this is where we're going to see with a different defensive scheme that, I'm optimistic to see how it all turns out. Obviously you want to see it during the real game, but I'm liking what I see. And I think it was time, and I think it's going to be a positive thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Hoyt, another guy that's coming back from injury.
Again, another
looked
guy.
Amazing before getting hurt. So he's supposed to be coming back by week 1, allegedly. So
yeah. And I mean, that game against Kansas City last year, when he did play before he got hurt, like I remember sitting in the stands going, this guy's a beast. Like
got
this
some
guy.
Juice. Yeah.
And then, of course, typical Bills, bad luck. But and that's what I mean. Like, I know as fans, we get anxious and we always think, why aren't we getting Myles Garrett? And we should be getting this guy. But, we all wish we had those guys. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, say what you want about Brandon Beane. He does things in a way that at least some of our solid core guys, like offensive linemen and people that you can get him at a good price. Like I said, you look at if we would have waited one more year for Cook, we would be paying him $25 million.
Absolutely.
So,
no kidding. Yeah. I mean,
we
he's
all
shown he's one of the
last
top
year.
backs in the league for sure. But
exactly.
Paying him Bijan Robinson money or Jahmyr Gibbs money, I feel like that would be a bad use of assets. Also, for Fernando Mendoza, he's not getting any help in this game whatsoever. I have this on in the background.
I know. What I usually do is I'll wait and watch it. You can put it on YouTube, and you can watch like 15 minutes or whatever.
I'll watch all the highlights.
Sum it up.
Yeah.
So, but no, I like I said, I think that I'm excited for what I call the unknown, because it's a brand new style of defense.
Well, it's different. It's different.
So no, I'm really looking forward to it.
The old regime, as far as like at least the defensive system under McDermott, could never get us through in the big game when it mattered. So just to do something different, it can't really be worse, because the old it never worked when we needed it to. And I like what you said about DJ Moore too. I think it's one of those things that they actually have. I know he's a little bit older, but he's still a solid, like, number one receiver, the outside receiver. And what that does is it pushes all the other guys into their proper right fitting role. Well, really,
Yeah. But you look at DJ Moore, and here's a guy who never up until last year was the first year that he actually had. And I wouldn't even, he's not a superstar yet, but Williams is up and coming.
Yeah.
But prior to that, the poor man never, like, he had Justin Fields throwing him the ball.
Right.
And he went through the period like Carolina, where they were
that was a carousel for him in Carolina. So
you can imagine this guy's probably sitting back going, oh my God, I can finally, show that I'm just as good as AJ Brown. I'm just as good as some of these other guys. With, it's like when Diggs got out of Minnesota and got with Josh Allen. So I think there's something special there. And like I said, I really want to see Skylar Bell hit the field. And no, I like I said, I like what we did. I mean, if you look at the old regime, You know, if you could get what's his name, like a Tre'Davious White back or Milano, some of these guys. But as much as I love those guys, it's time to. We need some young and new and something different.
They aged out. I mean, they're both. I
Yeah.
think either 30 or 31 respectively on there. It's just like
Right.
they played some hard years. Trey White with both those really serious injuries. Milano always getting nicked up. I mean, it's like one of those like we salute your service type of thing for all they did. I mean,
not for nothing.
Shaq
those
Thompson,
guys are free agents, Darryl.
Yeah.
They're still free agents. That says something.
That tells you. And Shaq Thompson would be someone, I honestly, out of them all, I would bring back. He was our only guy that last year showed that he could stop the run.
Yeah, he and Daquan Jones visited the Patriots, I believe it was yesterday. I don't know anything else if they've signed yet or not. So,
but like I said, I think when you look at the last couple of years and the disappointments, I mean, it usually happens because of something on defense. I know a lot of people focus on the Denver game, but I always these people that go, well, you know, Josh Allen, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, but then he still managed to get 30 points against the Denver Broncos, who had, I believe it was top 5 defense last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it should have never, I don't care, I've had this, it should have never came down to this whole Cooks thing because it was a catch. Bottom line, bad rule, but it should, but when you look, what did it for me was Sean McDermott, and I don't want to say anything negative. I appreciate everything he did, but
absolutely
4 minutes left. And I can't remember, our starter was he had shut down Sutton all game. He got hurt, takes him off the field, and he wouldn't leave man coverage.
Dane Jackson.
Yep. Wouldn't leave man coverage. And what did we see? Bing, 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 touchdown.
Yeah, game over.
And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, and I just felt like you know, that's when you knew, you know what? And then you look at some other, there's lots of different things when you look back and you think, man, if a decision would have been made different here or here, it would have been nice to see. But
small margins between winning and losing.
Really all it is.
Yeah.
But let's keep things going on here. So you mentioned just like some things that you've liked so far at practices. You mentioned DJ Moore and talked about some pieces on defense too, of course. But from, say, a coaching standpoint on here, what are some things you would like to see from Joe Brady this year? Because I know you got a lot of criticism all the time of just maybe running too much on early downs or just deferring to screen passes when he could have been trying to do things downfield. But now that he has a little bit more of a variety of a wide receiver core and maybe some, knock on wood, health coming back to the tight end room, of course, particularly with Kincaid, what would you like to see from maybe Joe Brady's play calling that is not something we have seen from a Bills offense in these last few years?
So I think a little different. Yeah, I admit sometimes you'd be like, oh God, not another screen pass. But you have to understand, I guess, I kind of try to think about it. Well, if he saved, like, we didn't have anybody to really throw the ball downfield to. So he had to come up with a scheme because you remember after the 2023 season, like, I love Josh Allen, but there was a lot of interceptions and he had to clean that up. So he came up with a scheme that realized, okay, I don't have superstar receivers. So how can I still get the best out of my court? And as much as it drove us nuts sometimes, you have to go with what you have. He didn't have guys that, let's say, broke away and Josh could throw it up there. So he built a system based on what he had. Maybe now, right, with some healthy guys and DJ Moore, and you saw a little bit of it in the preseason game. Yeah. Maybe he can throw it downfield. So, I mean, I know some people were hoping that he would go to, but if the trend in the NFL is the young, innovative coach, it would have been an embarrassment to the organization to let what is a young, innovative coach. He is. So I'm glad he's here. I mean, I like that he brought in Jim Leonard, and I think that was key for me when I saw, okay, that's good, because you heard all these great things about him out of Denver. So I like what I see. I think, would it be nice to open up the offense? But my personal opinion is and as much as people can say, like I said to you earlier, 28 points a game is a lot in the NFL.
Should be enough, yeah.
And we did that against some really good teams. So if the defense can even shut down a little bit better and we get some pressure, because again, we still found it hard to produce, people with double digits in sacks. So I think honestly, that's going to be the key to this team's success. It's not. I mean, Josh Allen's Josh Allen. He's the best. I don't care. He's going to do his thing. But if you could bring him out there where by the third quarter, because the defense has been able to shut down the Joe Burrows of the game and the Lamars and people like that, that's what's going to set us up for success, really. And I, like I said, I seem to like. I mean, I know it's a preseason game, but Carolina had their starters out there, and we did apply some pressure, and we saw some things.
Like nice to get off the field on third downs. You can do that.
The defense can do that. Downs. Yeah. I mean, no wonder I have anxiety 6 months of the year. Like
right,
friggin' third down, and I giving me flashbacks of the season. But yeah,
seen some things.
Yeah, and that's what was always frustrating was be like, and then and again it's right down the wire, and then I like it once in a while when maybe by the third quarter or halfway through the third I can relax and text some buddies and enjoy it when I'm watching it from home. I
like it.
People know because the kids know when I go to work the next day.
Oh, how your attitude is
affects your whole.
Like, Mr. Russell, are you okay today? No, I'll be fine.
Not really.
My dad said they lost, Mr. Russell. I'm sorry. And they always say sorry, give me a big hug. So working with the little kids, I'm like, I know, thanks, bud.
It warms your heart a little bit, at least.
Yeah, at least I got the kids at work to cheer me up. But,
right. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a brief break here to get a word from our sponsor, and that is DraftKings Sportsbook. So the DraftKings Sportsbook app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. So if you're a futures better kind of guy, the Buffalo Bills, of course, as we've been saying the last few times, they're still sitting at tied for second place for plus 1,000, the second best odds in the entire NFL to win the Super Bowl. So they're tied with the Baltimore Ravens. And if you're looking at the Sabres going on the Stanley Cup side of things for their odds next year, they are again tied with the Utah Mammoth, New Jersey Devils, and LA Kings at plus 3,000. So however, Darryl, they are slightly more favored than your Toronto Maple Leafs, as they are plus 3,500 for their odds. But aside from that little anecdote there, those who are new to DraftKings, sign up with code THPN. That is THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN, and that's in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. So let's shift it back a little bit more to a kind of a look back on maybe some of our favorite Bills of all time. And I wanted to kind of touch on this too, just because we could have some really wide ranging answers on this, because everybody has like a team or a certain player or like even an era that like really rings true on this. But I wanted to kind of take a look at this holistically, because Darryl, obviously you bleed the colors like all of us do, but more so that you get literal international recognition for this. And Sean, I feel like you'll have a pretty interesting response on this as well, just because, again, you had a lot of opportunity to like meet players like there's some really formative years yourself. So I kind of want to hear your perspective on this too. So feel free to take it away.
Ooh, as far as best era,
doesn't even need to be like best era. Could even just be during the drought or some of like the more miserable times.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that. I mean, for me, I mean, there's definitely a couple. You talked about some of our formidable years. My thing was, I've been close to the team at many years. Obviously, we've talked at nauseum at certain points on episodes with me having now a good friend and business partner and fellow pod, co-host Marcus Dowden, who played for the Bills during the drought years. And then we have Darryl, I don't know if you know, we actually have an equestrian center for horses with my buddy who played linebacker. Yeah, he doesn't play anymore, but he played back in like the early teens, 2000 teens. But yeah, so I obviously have a soft spot on my heart. That was like the Marcel Darius days with Doug Whaley before like Rex Ryan, or right around the Rex Ryan.
This would have been like literally just before Rex Ryan. I
If
think
they
it would
would
have
have
been
kept
like
Fitzpatrick in 14, we would have made the playoffs.
oh,
We
yeah.
had it on both sides of the field. That's my team.
You're right. So I'll agree with that. And to kind of tie it into that in particular team and that time, my favorite player, like I think a lot of the Bills Mafia as it is today, we kind of were just enamored with really the first big time personality that came with Stevie Johnson.
Oh yeah,
who was my guy, SJ13. And I had a chance to I had a clothing line like right out of college called Full Blast. And we were able to
there's a throwback.
Give Stevie a skateboard and some gear like at training camp. And just to kind of be around him because he was that Cali cool guy. He skated. He was known to actually skate at St. John Fisher on a skateboard. So gave him a skateboard and we kind of hit it off that year. This was probably like in my early 20s or so. But then his last year of Stevie with Fitz on that team was Marcus Dowden's, my guy's first year with the Bills. So they had overlapped in that 1 year. And a lot of that was, and Bills fans will remember this, Darryl, maybe you will too. Yep. This is when Doug Whaley essentially had to decide if they were going to give Marcel Darius the bag, the $100 million contract, which was, I think, the first one we had given out since Mario
Williams,
free agent, right? And so I'll never forget a good friend of ours, Mookie Hawkins, got us, involved in a lot of the Bills stuff and the Bills circles. I never remember a time when Doug Whaley was still the GM on that team. And Doug Whaley didn't even know if Marcel wanted to be on the team and sign an extension. And I'll never forget, I might have a picture of it somewhere, but them sitting at St. John Fisher on a golf cart, and Doug Whaley was talking to our buddy Mookie about like this big homie, as he was known, Marcel, want to be here and stay in Buffalo. And so just to be like almost like conversations that only an agent should be privy to just be around that. So I obviously have personal connections to make that my favorite era. And also too, a lot of the guys would go out, hang out. And I've talked about this a lot too, and like party with like the people of Buffalo. Granted, I think in my older age now, I'd much rather the team be good and be a championship caliber team. But for those obvious reasons, that's kind of where like my favorite teams were. I'd love to hear about yours.
Yeah, Darryl, feel free to take the floor on that.
So for me, it'd be very difficult to pick. So obviously, when I look back, I was a young man in the 90s and it was special because there was no social media. Because if you imagine if there was Instagram and stuff, I mean, Jim Kelly and these boys would have got ripped apart.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it was innocent. So, I mean, as you can see on my wall, it'd be very difficult for me to say, well, like when I think of my guys, I think of the Fab Four, Kelly, Thomas, Reed, and of course, Smith, Bruce Smith.
Oh, yeah.
But I also, as you can see, it's hard in the corner. I do have a soft spot for Cornelius Bennett. He's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Biscuit, yes.
Yeah, he was awesome. But so that era was awesome because we were young, and the stories, the tailgating because you're young. But then for me, when I think of after that was, I always thought season tickets were a lot of money. And then when I one day just happened to look them up and went, oh my God, they're not that much. So I started getting tickets in 2011. I got season tickets. And even though we were in that drought, like I said, the Stevie Johnsons and the Fitzmagic and players Spiller, I always had. So, and Jackson, like these guys were special too. So I kind of break it down. And then, of course, Josh Allen era. Like, I'll be honest, I know my friends I mean, if someone told me that we would land a generational quarterback like him, I would have went, yeah, it's never going to happen. It's just not in the Bills cards. So obviously this era is awesome, but it's funny because it just does bring back a lot of pent up buried feelings from the 90s when we lost 4 in a row. So it'd be very difficult for me to kind of go. I mean, it's all special to me. I mean, win or lose, I love the team, but yeah. But I would say Josh Allen's always my favorite player of all time now. But I would say those guys. I mean, I got to meet Thurman Thomas I think it was the end of June. He had this little, and it was a very intimate setting. It was only a few people, but yeah, it was awesome. I mean, such a nice guy. His wife was a sweetheart. I got to actually meet another. He's a social media influencer that goes by Chill Russell. Another guy you guys should get on your show. He's a really good
Heck yeah.
guy.
All right.
He's really good. He does it all. But yeah. So for me, when I look back at that, it was special. The '90s were special, like I said, because you didn't. When the game was over, you didn't have to go online and have trolls trolling you and stuff, and you just went to the next week.
Good point.
Right. The only trolls you had were actual newspaper columns, and
like unless you watch Channel
people
2
actually watching Sports Center back then when it was such a pillar of the sports community.
Yeah, honestly, all you did was watch NFL primetime at 7 to watch the game's highlights, and for us, because that would come in Canada, the TSM would pick it up. But yeah, so each era has its own special. The only era that I finally, there was a period there where I just couldn't get into. I mean, I never not get into it. Was I always think of 2004. All we had to do was beat the third stringers from
Steelers,
the Bledsoe era.
That was the Willie Parker game. That's what that was. Yep.
And when we lost that, I went from about 2005 till about 2010, where I watched, but I was deflated, I think. And then I brought myself back when we drafted like Spiller and Darius and Mario Williams came in, and it was exciting. So
how about you, Chris?
So I was thinking about this, even just going into the episode tonight. There were like 3 that I really wanted to like focus in on. The first one, when I was a kid, I was too young to like know that Super Bowl era Bills. I mean, obviously, like you hear plenty of it. It's just embedded into our culture. But my first like real, true like memories I have of watching the Bills were with Doug Flutie. And
I
remember listening to the game where he like does like the naked bootleg beating Jacksonville. And that game was blacked out in our house. I listened to it on the radio.
That was radio. I remember that too.
And Van Miller, well, it just was it's fandemonium and all that. Like I remember that very vividly. And I just remember like latching on to him and really loving him as a player. And I mean, I had his jersey and stuff as a kid, and remember that was like the coolest thing. And back when they had training camp at Fredonia, I remember like I was just a little kid at this point. My stepdad and I went with like a friend of mine in the neighborhood at that point. He took us there, and I was like, oh my God, that's Doug Flutie. And like I had like one of the little programs that they give to you to like collect autographs and stuff like that at that point. I was able to like kind of stick my hand through the fence, and I was like, I can't find this thing to this day. I'm sure it's somewhere in a box, but I was able to get Doug Flutie's autograph because you could just see me like just trying my absolute hardest to get that. So I do like really appreciate all like Doug Flutie for like what he did on the football field. Like he was just like a guy that was like given up on at some point, and he had like a cool redemption arc and things like that. But then I also vividly remember the Music City Miracles, like one of the the first like crushing sports blows too. But I was also thinking again, like just kind of going towards drought era stuff. I mean, I've been in Virginia. This is now 15 years, but I mean, this was a little thing that like I was able to latch up onto. Like college football, obviously in the South is bigger, and around here, like I have a lot of friends that are Virginia Tech fans. So I really appreciated Tyrod Taylor for what he was, because that got a lot of people in the area to really like give him some love and support around here, because he was another guy like kind of like an afterthought, only a 6th-round pick. He was a backup in Baltimore. I mean, got a Super Bowl ring out of that, which is good for him, of course. But at the same time, when he came to the Bills, like he wasn't really thought of as just like, oh yeah, we got Tyrod Taylor, we got Matt Castle, and then EJ Manuel still the draft pick there. But then lo and behold, Tyrod runs away with the starting job, and he has it for 3 years, and brings arguably one of the coolest moments back to the Bills. Obviously, he wasn't like the one to truly be the drought breaker, but he was part of that team that broke the playoff drought. And just having that little connection of now just where I call home, having that be pretty special. And then LaShawn McCoy being a part of that team too. I thought he was really special.
Awesome.
I remember Sean took me to a training camp with Mookie again. Meeting LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod was really special to me there. And that was also Sean McDermott's first year too. But obviously, like, be remiss if you didn't mention Josh Allen. And I'm not going to hesitate to say it either, especially when I was on the Bills. I mean, I love Stephon Diggs. I still have his jersey. I mean, obviously, you hate to see the way it went out like that, but he made
premier player, man. Premier.
I agree.
He made like the team electric. He put them on the map he basically put Josh Allen on the map. Also, I'm just seeing just a little sidebar here. Raiders player getting carted off, looking a little rough just because everybody's like surrounding the cart too. You hate to see that. But anyway, like I was saying, so if I had to like pick like a handful right there, I'd go with Flutie, Tyrod, Shady, obviously Josh Allen, and then Diggs. So I mean, those would be like my core five, I suppose I would pick there. So, but yeah, I enjoyed that just because again, you hear different perspectives and why people like or gravitate towards certain players because again, everybody has their own like story and connection for why they like the Bills or their own teams for that matter too. So I felt like again with Darryl, with your fandom being just like so prevalent and well known now, I feel like it's just kind of cool to just hear your perspective on that too.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I was saying earlier when I talked about like TJ Parker and meeting Caleb in person, and to know that like I said, TJ Parker, here's a guy like to spend 25 minutes with some dude from Canada here, like and talk like he was just a regular, and my friend Liam and I don't know. I think I'm an older guy, but I think that kind of stuff is important because we all know Buffalo Bills fans are passionate. And when people always say, "Oh, you're like one of the biggest fans," I said, "No, I'm not. I'm one of millions of us. Right. There's millions. You guys, there's us. There's tons of us that just want one at least,
Just one.
But, yeah, so there's and anybody that comes and plays in Buffalo, I hope they realize that it's not football's life for Bills fans. We love it. And it's 365 days of the year, and through the good and the bad, the hardships, that's what's important. That's the kind of players that you want playing for this team. So
absolutely.
Like I said, Thurman Thomas, what a nice guy. Like, and my buddy has a car. I don't know if I sent you a picture, but he wrapped his car with all Bill stuff. Thurman came out, got his picture with it. Like when you see that they can take 2 seconds of their time to do that, I don't think they probably deal with this all the time. But for that fan moment, they're going to go home. They're going to go to work.
Memory.
They'll remember that forever.
They're going to go to work on Monday and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe." Like I went to work and said, "Oh my God, Thurman Thomas, we shot the shit for about 30 seconds." Like that, I don't think, so that's the kind of guys you want. Like you said, Stevie Johnson was a prime example. And so was Fitzpatrick, because I used to take my kid to the 360 or the 60 event that they used to have.
Play 60. Yeah.
Play 60. And he played catch with my son, and like Stevie Johnson was always wild, always friendly with fans. Even when he comes back to game, Darryl Talley's another vet from the 90s who always, when he sees fans, stops, talks. That stuff's big, man. That's what makes you love the team and makes you remember these guys.
Absolutely. But you mentioned just wanting to have the team win one. But there's another one on our side of the aisle, at least, where we hope they get one, and that's the Buffalo Sabres. Now, off camera,
I do too, by the way.
Off camera, you mentioned how you're not totally Buffalo and everything, as you are a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. So I'm very curious to hear your perspective, not only from the Leafs side of things and how your offseason went, as we now shift things a little bit over to hockey now, but as an outsider's perspective, obviously you're plenty dialed into the Buffalo sports market, of course, but seeing their most recent playoff run, what that was like, especially now, like after this recent stretch of like the Leafs, like you could argue futility, but like, hey, they're getting a crack at the can every year, despite, I mean, again, getting knocked out in the first round, or like the couple years where they were able to finally proceed to the second round. But still, like, but under the jokes aside, there, like, again, you're still getting the crack at the can, while the Sabres were lucky to just be getting a sniff at it, if at all. But still,
then you guys got the first pick. You got the first pick too.
Yep.
Yes.
McKenna,
I'm hoping that. I'll be honest though. I mean, I hope that things turn around for Toronto and it doesn't take years. But I don't know, man. we had 4 guys, what I call the Fab Four, and to not even get a glimpse to even get close to a Stanley Cup final, I got to be honest, I don't know if we'll ever be able to pull off that again. Like having 4 legitimate stars. Now, why all of a sudden come playoff time these guys sort of just disappeared? I don't know. I mean, Marner, a great solid player, but he left, and I know everyone has their own perspective, but he was offered the most money, offered more than McDavid, and he still chose to leave. Not a lot of guys can handle the big market, right?
Yeah.
Playing, but
hence why he's in Vegas.
It's easy to shine in a market where the next morning the people are leaving. It's not like Buffalo.
Yeah.
Who fans love their hockey. Same with Toronto. Say what you want, make fun Toronto all you want, but they love their hockey, just like Buffalo loves their hockey. So I don't know. I mean, I hope we can turn it around. I'm optimistic. I mean, but I won't lie. I always get asked. I know you're not supposed to have second teams, but I have a spot for the Sabres. I mean, how can I not? I love everything about Buffalo. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to say too much about the Leafs. I'm glad we got
No, feel free to fire away just because it's again.
I can't wrap my head around why they can't get it together. We had 4, not that they were the best players in the league, but we had 4 top players. You can't, it was an all-star club when you break it on paper. But what I don't know. Is it coaching? Is it the pressures of knowing that you have, and then Matthews, I don't know what's happened to Matthews. So it's very difficult to say, it's like what the team will do. I'm hoping this season is better, but I don't know if Leaf fans, if I can handle another 5 years of trying to rebuild, because the team I hate the most looks like they're going to be good for a long time, and that's the Habs.
Montreal.
So, they're going to be good for a while.
Sure looks that way. And I mean, a lot of change came for the Leafs this year too, of course, just because they added John Shaka and a general manager, and that's been met with quite a bit of scrutiny too, of course. But then you also got Jim Hiller, and he, again, he's obviously been a player and obviously has his own history himself, but still, after all the struggles they had with Berube, especially last year, and all the injuries that really plagued them, going into next season, do you think somebody like Hiller could be what can maybe add a little bit more of a spark to this team? I mean, there's a few other new faces on there as well.
I think it comes down
on the ice.
Well, I just think it comes down to Matthews. If Matthews can go back to being the 60-goal superstar that we're supposed to be, really, I think it comes down to him. I do think we gave up too much. We traded for the goalie, the Florida. Was it the Florida?
Well, they didn't trade for him. He was a free agent. So, but
free
they
agent.
gave him a hefty contract.
But we signed, and I think we overpaid. So now for him, I mean, he's older. I don't know if he's over 30.
He's 37 or 38. Yeah, they gave him some pretty good money to play.
So then I'm sitting there going, we should have tried to sign a guy like that 4 years ago. Sign him now.
Right.
I mean, the longevity of players in the NHL is different now. They can play longer because the hard hitting and grindy type hockey isn't played in today's game like it was before. But yeah, I don't know. I'm optimistic. I mean, I'm gonna try to go into the season with good spirits, but
that's all you can do.
Well, it's like my Blue Jays too. What the heck? I was all pumped. We were an inning away from we should have won
tonight.
We got ripped off. I'm sorry, that ball should have been. That wasn't lodged.
Split second is really what it was.
Yeah, but so then I think that it was a very tough year for sportsmen. I won't lie, because Patriots, the Habs, and then I'm like, oh my God, the Blue Jays. I just thought, my worst nightmare is going to take place. Because if the Habs or the Patriots would have won the Stanley Cup and the Super Bowl,
would have been tough.
Well, my buddy Millsy, who I stuck golfing with all the time, is a diehard Patriots fan. I would have had to go into hibernation. I would have told him he can go find someone else to golf with. No way.
That's great. I did have one question, Darryl, a quick follow-up as far as specifically to the Leafs. The one thing I just kind of put my my GM hat on. I feel like in the Matthews era, they've always had a ton of good offensive like skill players, and I don't know. People could ask about is Matthews the type of leader? Obviously, he took over as the captain from Johnny Tavares, but I always wondered like. It seems to me that they are top heavy in the forward group, and they would try to use some of their assets like a Matthew Nyes or like a Willie Nylander to try to focus on fortifying their defense core. Because it seems always like to me like that's really their downfall. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and they also don't have a guy that like my buddy Dan, who you guys met at draft. He's a really diehard Leafs fan, and we just don't ever have that guy. Like when your best player is getting knocked around, we don't have a guy that's going to go, wait a minute, you know, we don't have that big hitting defenseman. And I know the game has changed, but we just don't have like it's almost like these guys are finesse, and finesse hockey works really well in the regular
season. Yeah.
So we get our 100 points, whoopee. But everyone knows come playoff time, it's grit and grind, and you got to grind for your goals.
Or somebody could just absolutely shut down a forward in some way. It doesn't even need to be the most
and
physical.
We never had a shutdown guy.
Them out.
Yeah. And our goaltending has always been, you know, subpar. But again, we never had the big hitting defenseman that could say, no, you're not coming into our area. Or if our best player's getting bumped around, we don't have that guy that's going to go, wait a minute.
Yeah, you won't get the Radko Gudises of the world away from them. So
we don't have a grind. So that's like getting back to your saying, that's always been the issue with the Leafs. And again, you think to yourself, big market. I mean, money's not a problem. I know that it's salary capped, but I have this theory that one day, whether it's next year or the year, I think Connor McDavid will end up a Toronto Maple Leaf one day.
Wow.
I would not be surprised at that.
Because I think there's a team right there that I think he's going to get fed up because I don't know how they haven't won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
Oilers,
Him and Draisaitl together? Come on now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but
you might be
right
about
Toronto
that.
does bad. I want the Sabres. The Sabres, at least so I have something.
Right.
But hey, maybe next year when McDavid's a free agent, with all the salary cap space that the Sabres are really stockpiling next year.
Well, I thought
that could be their play.
I thought maybe Marner would end up with you guys. I mean, the guy constantly posts Buffalo Bills stuff.
That's right.
And he was, I think he was at the one home opener or the week 2. I remember a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that caused a little bit of an uproar too. I remember because
what do you mean he was on the field, and I don't think he did the the opening.
No, he was. He was not the legend of the game.
No,
sure.
not the. But I remember him being on
players.
So I thought maybe Marner would end up as a Sabre, but
that's a funny way you say that. Just because I feel like if he was leaving the Leafs this offseason, that could have been more likely, I feel like. Because last year, it was still like, the Sabres are in the dregs of the league, still like bottom feeders of sorts.
Yeah.
But like after this season that they just had, like
it was
everybody's
awesome.
wondering. Yeah, it was special too. We got
a
very part of that.
A real awakening for sure.
Yeah.
And they have their money is being freed up post this year and beyond. So yeah.
And that's the other thing with Toronto. We've got, I think it's 2027, I know we have some more money be freed up, and then you're going to see guys like, Tavares, he's getting up there, and it'll be interesting to see what we do. But again, that's a type of organization that's not afraid to spend money, so whatever their cap is, they'll spend it right to the team.
Yeah. Well, they're the hockey mecca for sure. I'd say, but as much as I hate to say it, between the Leafs and Montreal, I think that is arguably, like, in the world of hockey, like, hockey mecca for sure.
Well, absolutely. I just need Montreal and the Patriots just suffer. That fan base needs to suffer for a very long time.
We won't disagree with that one bit. No, we won't disagree with that one bit. But yeah, Darryl, this has been great.
Been awesome.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping things up, to just tell the viewers here, we're sitting at just over about 400 live viewers on all the platforms. Tell the viewers where they can find you, whether it's
my cheesy videos.
Whether it's your cheesy videos or on game days.
Well, game days, I'm in section 149, row 8. Please, I'll be honest with you, I love meeting people. I love hearing people's stories of why they're a Bills fan. I've always said that would be, if I was to do content thing, want to be one of these guys that just goes around. I love hearing why people became a Bills fan. That's my thing. And I mean, on my Instagram, it's under Canadian Buffalo Bills fan. And like I said, I post very cheesy, made up videos when they win. And yeah, you know what? Please, if you ever see me at a game, I love it. Come say hello. I love meeting new people and making new friends. That's the whole thing about being.
Yeah, where can they find you pregame festivities, maybe for a tailgate?
So now that I've made some friends, I got to give my shout. So the Mafia vets, guys, have you met Bill Squatch yet?
No.
I got to bring you guys. When you guys come to the Patriots, you got to meet Bill Squatch and the Mafia vets. Awesome dudes. And then we swing around. I go to visit Teresa and the Water Buffalo Club, a great group of people there. Then I work my way over to the Hammer Lot, say hello to Pinto and the boys.
Got to make a stop there.
I always like to find my Chill, Russell, and the Poncho guys. So I kind of, and then Buffalo tailgates. They've asked me to come by. So I'm the type of guy I like to try and.
You're a man of the people. You got to.
I do. I just love people.
You're the mayor, bro. You're the mayor.
Yeah, like whatever, man. You know, I like to dance. So I hope I didn't see them at the preseason game, but I used to love going in the Bill Leavers, that band.
Okay.
Oh, they were always played in, when you first walked in, and I used to always go about a half hour before game time, dance with a bunch of older ladies and carry on and have some fun.
Nice.
So I'm hoping, but that's where I'll be. But I hope you guys have to let me know when you're there for the.
For sure, we will absolutely reach out.
For sure, but hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll tell you what I appreciate about this too is, although I'm what they call, I guess they label you a super fan. I do like to talk sports. I like talking football and giving my 2 cents, whether it's right or wrong. But I appreciate that you guys asked me some real good football questions and hockey. But,
months in the making on this too. I'm glad we finally were able to make this work too. But like you said, it was kind of neat to hear just like a non-Bills thing, obviously not only coming from you, but again, it's from a fandom or even just a team. Like, sure, we're going to mention the Leafs, but like, we're not going to go in depth on them unless we have somebody that knows what they're all about. So we appreciate you taking us down that Leafs rabbit hole. So I don't as dark as it may be.
Yeah, you're going to keep me up all night thinking about it. I'm trying to be optimistic. So I
just visualize McDavid to the Leafs.
That's what I'm visualizing. 2027.
Yeah.
Right. But awesome. Darryl, again, this was wonderful. Really appreciate you being on, folks. Go find the Canadian Buffalo Bills fan, the International Fan of the Year, next time you're at a Bills game. But again, thanks so much to everybody for tuning in, watching us here, and listening wherever you do listen to us. Next week on Monday, look for me actually to join up with the guys on Trainwreck Sports, doing something we haven't really done much, but we're finally able to pull off this year. But on Monday night, myself and the guys at Trainwreck Sports are going to be doing a collab streaming session on Fortnite as the new
I may be joining as well. Maybe.
So new season just beginning on there, but we will join you next week to recap more Bills, more Sabres, and just talk about anything else really noteworthy in the sports world. Shawnee V, any parting thoughts as you begin some very interesting travels on your end?
No, lots of travels. Looking forward to hopefully bringing the Xbox on the road to Clearwater. Actually, no, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale, then Clearwater. A lot of Florida coming up. But it's been good. Darryl, you're the man. Excited to hang out with you again.
Yeah.
Soon,
well, I might be hitting you up when it's because I work at the School for the Blind Visually Impaired. When it's our March break, I might need a spot in Florida.
Oh,
there you go. Spring break.
Spring break.
He would know. Yes. He would know.
I got a lot of hookups on hotels for you. That's what I do. So.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, as always, thanks again for tuning in, and let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
Go Bills.
Yes. All right. Take care, y'all.
Take care.